Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a psychological thriller film, Joker. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins when a party clown, Arthur, is doing his makeup to prepare for a performance. Suddenly, the scene transitions to a busy Gotham City, and Arthur is dancing and holding a sign to catch the attention of the city walkers. However, a group of young people pull a prank on him as they steal Arthur's sign. Arthur runs as fast as he can to catch up with the young bullies. However, as soon as he catches up to the bullies, all of the bullies beat him up to a pulp. While in pain, Arthur has difficulty breathing as he lies down on the ground, terribly injured. In the next scene, Arthur laughs hysterically. He tries his best to stop laughing, but his body would not allow him to stop it. This reveals that Arthur has a neurological disorder that causes him to laugh uncontrollably at random times. Arthur tells his counselor that Gotham City is going through tough times as the economy remains stagnant. The counselor replies and agrees. The counselor asks for Arthur's journal to check his disposition. While skimming through pages, the counselor sees an interesting sentence Arthur wrote. "I just hope my death makes more sense than my life." This implies that Arthur has severe depression, revealing that he was locked up in the mental hospital before because of his deteriorating mental health. Going home depressed, Arthur notices that a kid is staring at him. To lighten the mood, Arthur makes funny faces to make the kid laugh. However, the mother dislikes the idea and angrily asks Arthur to stop. Suddenly, the commotion has caused Arthur's disease to trigger as he uncontrollably laughs hysterically. When arriving home, Arthur takes care of his mom, while the television broadcasts about the worsening rat infestation in the city. After the breaking news, Arthur and his mother decide to watch The Murray Show. Suddenly, the scene transitions to a live setting of The Murray Show, while Arthur is one of the audience. Arthur laughs hard as he hears Murray's joke. The attention is focused on Arthur when Murray mentions and talks to him on the show. As they talk about caring for their mothers, Murray invites Arthur to get on stage. They hug passionately, and the scene transitions to a darker scenario when it returns to the scene where Arthur is watching the show only through television. In the next scene, Arthur is seen struggling in his workplace. One of his workmates consoles him after the terrible beating. Moreover, the workmate gives him a gun to use in self-defense. Meanwhile, Arthur's boss summons him to talk about something. The boss complains about a certain project wherein Arthur loses their client's sign, which makes the client angry. Arthur says that the bullies beat him up and he could not retrieve the sign. However, the boss does not feel remorse and asks Arthur to get the sign back, and if he is unsuccessful, the boss will not pay his salary. Feeling devastated, Arthur takes his frustration out on the garbage area. In the next scene, Arthur takes his gun and practices aiming it in different directions. Suddenly, he accidentally pulls the trigger and the gun shoots. He feels shocked as he realizes what he has done. Moreover, Arthur starts taking notes of funny ideas as he prepares to shoot his shot for a career in stand-up comedy. Meanwhile, Arthur continues his job as a clown as he performs in the children's hospital to make the children laugh. However, he makes another mistake on the job when his gun accidentally falls on the ground, making the children and the adults worried. Arthur's boss has been informed about the incident and calls Arthur to say that he has been fired from the job. Also, his boss tells him that one of his workmates, who gave Arthur the gun, said that Arthur has bought a gun from him recently. This reveals that Arthur's selfish workmate's intention to give him a gun was not sincere, and he only did it to lie and make Arthur look bad to their boss. Inside the train, Arthur witnesses certain businessmen harassing a woman. Suddenly, Arthur's disease triggers, and he uncontrollably laughs hysterically. While laughing, the men slowly approach him and beat him to a pulp. As the men punch and kick him hard, Arthur takes his gun, shooting and killing the harassers. The remaining survivor tries to run, but Arthur does not feel remorse and finishes him off as he shoots the poor man to death while trying to escape. Meanwhile, Arthur runs as fast as he can to avoid being caught by the police. After the incident, Arthur's disposition becomes more dangerous than ever. Also interestingly, he pursues a romantic relationship with his neighbor, a single mother. In the next scene, Arthur goes to the office to claim his remaining stuff in his locker. However, he feels mad as he remembers the betrayal of his selfish workmate. When leaving, he confides that the gun is from his selfish workmate and blames him for losing his job. Crazily, he aggressively punches the log machine until it falls to the ground. At home, Arthur's mother is watching Thomas Wayne on the television. His mother believes that Wayne is a good man and will help them if he wins the election. The television talks about the recent massacre on the train and how the less fortunate people see the clown murderer as a hero for killing businessmen. This reveals that what Arthur had done positively impacted the poor. Moreover, Wayne promises that he will fix the problem if elected as a mayor, and that clowns will be purged. In the next scene, Arthur continues his appointment with the counselor. He says to the counselor that people are now noticing his acts. This reveals that Arthur slowly realizes his power and influence to spark a revolution in the deteriorating Gotham City. Bad news, the counselor says that their medical funding has been cut, and it is their last appointment. Arthur is worried about where he can get medications. Without it, he could cause a terrible rampage. Finally, Arthur gets his chance to try to start a career in stand-up comedy. He goes to the stage and prepares to tell his jokes to the audience. Not long after, his disease triggers, and he starts laughing uncontrollably. As he chokes on his laugh, he has trouble telling his jokes to the audience. He still delivers the joke, and some people find it funny. At home, Arthur's mother says that she has written the message for Thomas Wayne and asks Arthur to mail it the next day. Curious, Arthur opens the envelope and reads the letter. While reading the content, Arthur learns that his real father is Thomas Wayne and his mother is asking him for help. Arthur feels devastated about the new information and gets mad at his mother for keeping it a secret. While they talk, the mother confides that she and Thomas Wayne had a wild hormone ship before, and everything written in the letter is true. In the next scene, Arthur goes to Thomas Wayne's house, and a kid greets him. To entertain him, he performs various magic tricks for the kid to be comfortable. Eventually, he asks the kid's name, and the kid says that it is Bruce Wayne, the childhood Batman. This reveals that Bruce might be Arthur's little brother. Eventually, a staff member comes, and Arthur asks him if he could meet Thomas Wayne. As Arthur mentions his mother's name, the staff immediately realizes Arthur's identity. Arthur says that he knows everything about his real father, but the staff denies everything. When Arthur says that Thomas Wayne is his father, the staff laughs. As a reaction, Arthur takes his hands to choke the man. Not long after, Arthur runs away from the mansion to escape. In the next scene, Arthur witnesses his mom being carried towards the ambulance. Arthur feels depressed as he sees his mother suffering. Outside, the detectives approach Arthur to ask him some questions. It reveals that the detectives had already talked to Arthur's mother before she started collapsing. Still, the detective continues asking questions about the train massacre. The detectives ask him about the gun he owns, but Arthur replies that the gun he owns is only a prop. While taking care of his mom, Arthur watches The Murray Show and sees the host mocking him for his performance in the stand-up comedy. As he watches, he feels embarrassed and offended by how the host makes fun of him. Arthur is now starting to feel that all the rich people make fun of him. Meanwhile, it is broadcasted on television that groups of people wearing clown masks are protesting about the worsening economic situation of the city. The protesters say that Thomas Wayne and the system are rotten and need to be taken down. The protests continue for days as elections are nearing. Curious, Arthur goes out and joins the protest. Arthur smiles as he witnesses the people fighting against the tyrannical system and a leader. Silently, Arthur sneaks into the building to look for Thomas Wayne. He goes into the cinema and pretends to be a staff member. He surveys the whole room to look for Thomas Wayne. Coincidentally, as Arthur goes to the restroom, he finds Thomas taking a stinky leak. Arthur mentions his mother's name, but Thomas Wayne denies that he is his father. Instead, he mentions that Arthur is adopted, and he does not have any relationship with his mother. Also, he says that Arthur's mother is mentally ill. Arthur finds it ridiculous that everyone is unreasonably rude to him, as he laughs again uncontrollably. Annoyed, Thomas Wayne punches Arthur in the face and leaves the restroom without feeling remorse. Suddenly, Arthur receives a phone call from The Murray Show. The woman says that he's invited to be a guest on television. After thinking about it, Arthur agrees to attend the show. Arthur goes to the hospital to look for his mother's records, to check if she really was sick and if he is adopted. According to the records, it is true that his mother was diagnosed with various mental illnesses. The clerk refuses to give the journal to Arthur. Arthur forces his way to get the journal and runs for his life to escape the hospital. While reading the files, Arthur laughs and cries uncontrollably as he pictures his mother's sufferings. At night, Arthur needs to take his frustrations out on people. He trespasses into his neighbor's room to look for a companion. However, the single neighbor asks him to leave, and it seems they do not have a relationship. This scene reveals that the two did not know each other and were only strangers. In fact, the scenes and memories before are only made in Arthur's imagination. Arthur visits his mother in the hospital. After saying his tragedies in life, he takes his mother's pillow and uses it to choke and kill his mother. This reveals that because of Arthur's tragedies, his disposition becomes more vengeful than ever. Terror by terror, Arthur continues his rampage. In the next scene, he is seen preparing for his appearance on The Murray Show. To change his looks, he dyes his hair green as he dances awkwardly in the restroom. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door, and he sees his old workmates console him after hearing about his mother's death. On the other side, the selfish workmate mentions the detectives coming into their office because of the train massacre, and he suspects Arthur of doing it. But Arthur laughs and takes his blade to stab the selfish workmate's neck and eyes, ending his selfish life and leaving him with so much blood pouring. Not satisfied, Arthur continues banging the head of his selfish workmate into the wall to ensure his death. Fortunately, he spares the midget workmate because he remembers he was nice during their time together. Jokingly, he scares the midget when he is just about to leave. Before leaving, he kisses the midget on the forehead, but without using his smelly tongue, saying that he's the only person who has been kind to him ever since. Finally, it is now the time for the Murray Show. Arthur dresses and prepares himself for the biggest night of his life. While on the way to the building, he dances gracefully as he climbs down the city stairs. Suddenly, the detectives come and look for him. Arthur runs as fast as he can to escape. While escaping, a car runs over, but Arthur seems unbothered by his injury and continues running. Fortunately, he gets on the train and blends himself with the other clown protesters. The detective takes his gun to intimidate the clown protesters, but he is unsuccessful as the protesters attack him. The other protesters celebrate as they see the detective getting beaten. It is now night, and Arthur successfully makes it to the Murray Show. In the building, he is greeted by Murray, who welcomes him to the show. Arthur requests that Murray address him as a joker during the whole appearance. Not long after, the show starts, and Murray enthusiastically introduces Joker to the audience. Joker enters the stage gracefully as he approaches the host, Murray. Suddenly, Murray asks Joker for a joke. Joker leans in, takes his notes out, and reads one of his journal entries. After saying a corny joke, Joker confides on live television that he was the one responsible for the train massacre. The host, including the audience, remains silent and is startled by what Joker said. To kill the silence, Murray asks for the punchline, but Joker says there is no such thing and what he said was not a joke. Joker says that he confides because he has nothing left to lose. He says that his entire life has been a comedy. In his speech, Joker says it is a double standard when businessmen are reported killed. The people mourn for them. He also says that if only ordinary people died like him, the people, including Thomas Wayne, would not care. Joker says on live television that he has a problem with Thomas Wayne, and he also says that Murray is awful by embarrassing him in the whole city when playing his video to make fun of him. Not long after, he tells the last joke, and he aggressively asks Murray, "What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash?" To answer his question, Joker takes his gun out and shoots Murray's face, killing him on live television. Joker laughs hysterically as he repeatedly shoots Murray in the chest. The police then come to the studio to arrest Joker. As the police car escorts Joker to prison, various protests and riots are happening in the streets. Joker smiles as he sees chaos in every direction of the city. Suddenly, cars come crashing, and the protesters celebrate in the middle of the road. It reveals that a clown protester wearing a mask crashed the ambulance into the police car to attempt to free Joker. This also implies that the poor people and the protesters are with the side of Joker and believe in the message he is trying to say to the world. Then, two masked protesters take Joker's body out of the police car to save him. The riots continue to erupt as the Wayne family attempts to escape the city. However, a masked protester sees them and takes his gun to shoot the aspiring mayor in the chest, killing him. Meanwhile, the protesters celebrate as they see Joker regains consciousness. Joker rises, seeing thousands of people supporting his message to the world. He dances gracefully as the protesters go roaring, and as the scene slowly fades away to the hospital. In the hospital, Joker laughs hysterically as he thinks of a joke during his therapy session with a doctor. The therapist asks Joker what the joke is, but he refuses to tell it by saying that she would not get the joke regardless. Not long after, he escapes the hospital with blood trails on his shoe prints, and the comedy of the Joker will continue haunting. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.